What's a dark secret you want to get off of your chest? I've been a functioning alcoholic since 2018, when I was drugged, taken to another location, and sexually assaulted by multiple people. I began using alcohol to numb myself after that. A few years later I got in an abusive relationship and my drinking just spiraled completely out of control. I've never told my friends or family about the assault or my alcoholism. They eventually found out about the abusive relationship once I left him for good. Even after I got out of the relationship, I was basically drinking myself to death. I would drink anywhere from 10 to 18 cans almost every night of the week, until I could pass out in my bed until morning. I tried cutting back a few times but would always relapse worse than before. But today I am proud to say that I'm 19 days sober, starting therapy, and I'm looking forward to finally getting my life back on track. I suffered from horrific intrusive thoughts due to OCD, and for 28 years I thought something was wrong with me. That I may end up being a predator/murderer/psycho, even though all of the thoughts made me physically sick. I was genuinely scared to babysit my 2-year-old nephew alone, because what if I accidentally threw him down the stairs? I finally opened up to my therapist and she helped me work through it all, and I'm not triggered anymore, and I can finally live peacefully. During a manic episode, I was filled with so much rage and sorrow that I let a homeless man take me into a ditch behind a church in hopes that he would kill me. He didn't. He just snorted some meth, showed me pictures of his girlfriends, and made pleasant conversation. I guess he was just lonely. Edit. Since many people seem to only take one thing from this story, I didn't know he was homeless till my mom found us and offered him a ride to his place, which then we discovered he didn't have one. I didn't expect him to kill me, I was just hoping he would, as an obviously drugged up man walking across the street to approach a 19-year-old girl who is alone, and offering her into a ditch where bodies are often found was a decent enough red flag. And let's not forget that I was in a state of psychosis. I isolate myself from people and then get mad about it later on. I reject invites to go places and see people, then hate myself for always feeling alone. I'm normally okay once I'm out and about, but the thought of going to see people or the build up to it messes with my head, and I don't know why. It's like I love to climb and I go to the climbing gym regularly. But every day I'm getting ready to go I get filled with this anxiety about it. And I always think to myself that I don't really want to go, but I make myself go, and after the first 10 minutes, I love it, and can't wait to go back. But the next time, same thing happens. What is wrong with my brain? Why can't it just be normal? When I was 7, I was home alone. I called 911 due to a house fire that consumed half the house, and they found me outside. My mother, who was at work, I was a latchkey kid, was told by the fire department that it was an electrical fire. In truth, I had a lighter and was fascinated by fire. I was burning the little tassels at the end of the blanket on my bed, putting them out before it caught the whole blanket on fire. Until I wasn't able to and the whole bed caught fire. An electrical outlet shorted out from the heat, which caused the firemen to think that was the cause. I'm 40 now. My mother still doesn't know the truth and I still remember it all vividly, complete with the heat on my face as I tried in vain to put out the bed. I felt relieved when my dad offed himself. While he had a lot of mental health issues, he was also not a very nice person and put me and my family through a lot of pain for many years. I have countless stories of the messed up things he said and did. I now have conflicting feelings where I am sad that someone suffered so much pain and inflicted so much pain on others, but I'm also relieved that it is over and I don't honestly miss him at all. As someone with ADHD and cyclothymia, I had a big issue with this for a while during COVID. Started setting screen time restrictions for right in the morning, and right when I got off work. Did the same for my Steam account as well. On top of that, I would set my running shoes, clothes, water bottle and a chewy bar right next to my bed. When my alarm would go off, I'd just wrench myself out of bed even if I was still half asleep. I'd chug 10 sips of water, put my things on and be out the door eating my chewy bar within 5 minutes. Within a week I went from being a morning walker to a morning runner. Months later I was a habitual runner with a generally productive morning routine that set the tone of the rest of my day. Being aware of how dopamine addiction and bad habits were the bulk of my issues was huge for me. After I had the info, all I had to do was have a bit of self-discipline and that was it. It's about having a system and holding yourself accountable to it. Motivation and inspiration are fleeting, but a system will actually yield long-term results, whatever your goal is. When I was 8 years old, I was at a friend's sleepover. He was also the same age and there was also an older boy there. He asked me to get naked and lay on my friend. After saying no multiple times, I got persuaded to do it. He said they do it a lot as guys his age. I don't know much more of that night. I guess my brain said, let's forget that. I still know how the room looked, what games we played before, and how the bed and the carpet looked. I'm 20 now and I think because of that I had a lot of trouble accepting physical touch and intimacy. It's one of the most detailed memories of my childhood till now. That I didn't spend near enough time with my Nan in the months before her death. For context, she was 101, hilarious, kind, and had all her faculties. She was the best support, and everything you would want in a Nan. With her age, I knew time was short but didn't prioritize her as much as I should have. I saw her the night before she died, and I said I'm sorry, and she accepted it and forgave me, but you could tell she was sad. Next time I saw her she was gone. I regretted every day of my life. I have terrible memory issues, and no matter what I do to keep things on track, meds, planners, reminders, alarms, etc., things still slip through the cracks. It makes me feel terrible because I hate the disappointed or even frustrated look I get when I ask a question and should clearly know the answer. It's especially difficult when people end up thinking I don't care, because if you cared then you'd remember. I care so much, I never want to ask what we plan for tomorrow, again, and when your birthday is, again, despite attending the party last year. It just gets really hard to juggle everything all the time. I don't feel the want to do anything. I feel no excitement for future dates or events. I'm not excited or looking forward to anything except greedy shit like getting money or objects. I'm not even materialistic, it's just like my brain is looking for shortcuts to make me feel some sort of excitement, and so it looks for objects that I want. This makes me feel horrible. My girlfriend asks me to play video games, or hang out with her, and I always do, but I never look forward to it until we actually do something. I always enjoy my time with her, but I can't get hyped up to do anything. I've heard of this with older people, but I'm only 18 and I'm horrified. I need this motivation. I told my fiancée on our first date that I don't want her like children. Kept saying it for 5 years and then she got pregnant and decided to keep it. I'm not blaming her for getting pregnant. Now she doesn't clean, cook, or play with the kid, because she is tired and I'm stuck with all of it. She won't even teach him to sleep without diapers because she doesn't want to wake up in the middle of the night, so I have to deal with that as well. I love my son and would literally die for him. But this life is not for me and I wish every day for death just so I can rest and have peace. I don't really want to die, I just feel like it would be easier if I wasn't alive. When I was 8, I walked in on my 13-year-old cousin strangling a small kitten with both hands. He just stood there with an unmoving expression while watching the life slowly flutter from its eyes. When he noticed me, he threatened to do the same to my mother if I didn't find him more animals to play with. So out of fear, I complied. For 2 months, I would get him frogs, hamsters, my grandmother's pet bunny at one point, any small animal of sorts just to get him to leave me alone. The ordeal stopped when he was sent to the hospital for an anaphylactic reaction. He had a peanut allergy, and was gone for 2 weeks. I never told anyone. He's 22 now and is seemingly normal. He's engaged to a pleasant woman who owns 3 cats. I fear for their safety. Back in college, my floor mates thought I needed to loosen up. They all knew I had a bad first sexual experience and wanted to help. So, they did nothing but hand me drink after drink. One night at a pregame, I was happy people were being cool to me. One drink was drugged. I don't remember leaving the dorm that night, even though I was told that we all went to a bar. And I don't remember the bar, or getting back. But I do remember waking up in the morning, naked, with a condom still on my dick, and a girl sitting in my desk chair. When I woke up, I questioned, almost paralyzed, in shock. She said, "I only stayed because I thought you might be dead." I can't believe they convinced me to do this. I had never seen her before and didn't know her name. But saw her around campus from time to time, where I avoided her and she avoided me. I confronted my floor mates who got incredibly defensive and brushed it off. They saw it as me getting with a very attractive girl. No apologies from anyone. People question me as to why I'm still painfully single, 9 years later. You've got a big heart, you would make someone happy. I've told one person about this, who laughed and said, well, at least it wasn't real rape. So I don't tell anyone now. I'm terrified because I feel I would not be taken seriously. I've never had a real relationship, nor a healthy sexual experience. I'm not sure if I'll ever be at a place where I can achieve that. And at this stage, what's the point? Even if I find someone tomorrow, I'd be in my 30s getting married, and who knows about kids. Fully expecting to be alone for the future, even if I don't really want it to be that way. Thanks for listening to Reddit Rundown. Give a thumbs up and subscribe, and help me get to 1,000 subs. Leave a comment below on what kind of topics or stories you would like to hear. You can also check out other videos on my channel. Thanks and have an awesome day.